Welcome to Little Birdie Podcast. I'm your host, Scoot, joined by Dicko, professional punter, and Sammy Jane Todd, or SJT, but she's had a rebrand. Sammy from South Yarra on Twitter. Who are you hiding from at the moment? What's going on there? New week, new name.
It's just a little take on Karen from Brighton.
Oh.
So I walk the tan religiously and I'm pretty over it, I've got to say. But, you know, them's the rules.
Them's the rules. Oh, well, lucky lockdown.
It could be a lot worse, you're right.
Jack? Yeah. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Oh.
A bit quiet.
A bit quiet. Must be a stitch-up.
I don't know how to
coming.
bounce off Sammy from the Yarra. What's that? What is
Well,
it?
the tan.
Sammy from South Yarra.
Yeah.
Sammy from South Yarra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've walked all of Chadstone. darling.
The bio needs to be checked out.
But isn't
At Sammy Jane Todd on Twitter.
Isn't the tan like past the 5K radius now for you?
Please.
No,
Not even.
It's 3 points. Is it 3.7?
I thought I was bad at judging distances.
Yeah, 3.7 a
How's your
lap.
parking skills?
Yeah.
Hasn't it got to be 5K from your house?
Yeah, my house is on the Botanic
Yeah, on
Gardens.
the edge of it.
there we go.
Here we go. There's a nice little flex
yeah.
for you.
So social distancing is a big thing at the moment in Sydney. Poor old Bjorn Baker and Glyn Schofield have been thrown under the bus. Controversial, I'd say, Jack. There's been many Twitter posts from other trainers,
I thought it was
high-profile jockeys as well,
I thought it was Waller and Bowman and Berry.
that got rubbed out or got
I
fined.
haven't paid much attention to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Just
I
seems to
thought
be,
they were doing the photo with the car.
yeah, the BMW. What is it? The Mercedes.
BMW, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
was
think it
it?
was Volkswagen.
I think it was a Skoda, Bayside Skoda.
But yeah, get in touch, someone. But so who got in trouble?
You know, Bjorn Baker and Glenn Schofield. Not Waller and Bowman and Berry.
They're sweet.
They're sweet. So it's one set of rules for someone and another set of rules for someone else.
But I don't. What are the rules up there? You're not allowed. It's you got a distance all the
yeah,
time.
1.5 metres.
Except when they're in the barriers.
Well, yeah. It doesn't make much sense, does it?
So what? Rugby league players are supposed to social distance in Sydney too.
What are
Rules
they? No
are
tackles.
stay on the right side of the right people. I
Maybe it
think.
should be tag.
So then they can pack a scrum.
It all is.
It's all noise. Is what it
Yeah, it
is.
is.
It's just noise. Just
Speaking of NRL, doesn't it just bounce from one saga to the next? As Top Rope Tedeschi says, there's just another bubble around the corner. Last week, PVL and Gus Gould was sort of toe to toe, and then all of a sudden there's a
he's gone with
there's a 16. What's that?
real happy with that.
What?
You've gone with the toe to toe reference there. What is that leading
good.
into?
Well, I don't know. Like,
I don't think we need to talk about the goings on in the private life of anyone.
And how did they deal with it, though? Is it different to how they would have elsewhere, do you think?
I think if it was
AFL?
in the AFL, if they could find a way to sack the lady who posted it, they would. But I don't think they can. I think the NRL just sort of... The NRL's a lot more seasoned and just embraces the
hysteria and
they
just
use
like
it. They use it as a bit of a momentum builder.
Yeah, well, if they're getting talked about the NRL, they sort of like it. It's a funny one because it's a different world for PVL. There was rumours months ago about jockeys sharing a water bottle, and that was just swept straight under the carpet. And it was probably one of the worst kept secrets in racing in COVID times. But now you've got Bjorn and Glenn Schofield hugging, and then next thing you know, there's a big song and dance about them, and then again there's another set of rules for the Wallers and the Bowmans and the Berries of the world. So it's very confusing, and PVL has got this new dynamic to deal with in NRL where we can't control the narrative, and with that we rewind, and that's exactly why he's trying to get Gus Gould in to run the show, and that's why Andrew Webster is pulling him up about it. So guess what, PVL? You can't control all the narrative. It's not the Daily Telegraph of the racing world. It's a new ball game for you.
And it's common sense, right? Like, the NRL is probably a team and a half away from having a good, solid competition. A bit like the AFL. The talent's sort of like stretched. If you start sacking every bloke that's got a sex tape out there in the NRL,
You won't have a game
no one
left.
You're back to juniors.
Yeah, so play on.
Yeah.
I love Tedeschi's line when he said NRL exists in spite of itself. Like, could you sum it up any better than that?
That's very good for you.
He has got away with words and great
Fantastic.
memory, Sammy. You never forget. Now, Ablaze, he looked enormous last week in the Grand National Hurdle. He's just something out of the box, that runner. BT Junior roared home.
Are you a big jumps girl?
I get tingles watching it.
I don't even watch it.
Oh, really?
Be honest, I don't. I know.
What about the bull? You like the bull?
I like the bull, but I don't like the bull for the jumps. I like the bull for the 3 days of
atmosphere.
betting and like.
No,
Back before COVID, I really like the
goosebumps.
bull because you can go down there to the betting ring.
And it's an experience.
It's like a betting ring like you don't ever see anymore, which you'd love and understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's different to like Flemington Cup week even.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because it's
so
like
true.
jammed in.
True.
Jumps is... I bet enough on horses, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't bet on the jumps. I love the courage of the horses. Like they just, oh my God, I get goosebumps watching them. Like they seriously put all in.
Exactly. And the jockeys are mad.
Actually, while we're on the jumps, the jockeys are mad. and so is RaceNet for doing the most one-sided story of all time. I know for a fact that a lot of the people involved in the horse are filthy. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact that the jockey who got a story written about him in RaceNet like he was really hardly done by the gutless, faceless trolls on the internet. He called them a C.T on his Twitter page, which is probably more of a reason why he got rid of his Twitter account. If Trent Cotchin called someone that on Twitter, if Hugh Bowman called someone that on Twitter, the foulest word there is in the language, what would happen to them? Hugh Bowman would get rubbed out.
Yeah.
But because it's jumps, is he sweet or something? The Racing Victoria stewards need to look at it. You got to hold people to account. And if you're going to report and be the journalist in racing, you got to report the two sides of every story.
100%. Yeah, we can't have a 60 minutes like thing happen in racing. Now, when I am looking for two sides of the story, I go to puntingform.com.au. They have got the best database for a professional punter. I know Jack can't live without it.
Literally couldn't.
Yeah. It's like oxygen for us to help us bet every Saturday.
Well, you need it because with 7 years of historic benchmark data and ratings, Punting Form is the number one choice of horse racing professionals.
We'll have a break, and up next, AFL.
Yes, Dawson's Creek. Welcome back to the Little Birdie podcast. It's Sammy Jane Todd, and I'm here with the boys, and of course,
she's here with the boys
Ian
with her macchiato.
My little macchiato. What's wrong with my macchiato?
You left the boys out today, didn't you?
Yeah, you got the New York starter
just
cap.
noticed that.
Typical tan
last
attire.
say 3 or 4 shows, old Dicko said, text you both.
Yes, a coffee.
Who would like a coffee?
Yeah.
Well, if I got you a coffee from the bot, it would have been cold by the time I got here.
Better than nothing.
Ooh, la,
I stopped to go and get a
ooh,
bottle
la.
of wine because I'm owing a certain someone in this room, sitting in his high chair over there.
Let's not
Feeling very good about
let's
himself.
not let Hawthorn drain the narrative again on this show, right? They beat Carlton. Well done. You're not back. You're still legless. And yeah, let's not talk about Jeff either.
Speaking of who's back, Cam and Dawson's Creek. How are you guys?
Yeah, going good. It's good to hear your voices, guys. Down here in Cape Woolamai, isolated. It's good to hear some familiar voices.
How is it down there, Cam?
Oh, it's cold and windy. It's freezing.
I know we're about to get on a bad beats, but I had a little text from someone out wide who she said she's one of the biggest, worst beats of her life, this young bird.
Okay.
She thought she was on. She thought she'd found the one.
Oh, no. Oh, this is a stitch.
And our little man,
this is a
the great
stitch up.
man, the coxman of the team. He's got rid of her this week. He's back on the market, ladies. Cam Dean is single. He's down there and he's ready to mingle. If you're down that way, get on Hinge, get on Tinder. You'll find him. Is the fight back? Are you enjoying the sort of the fish?
I've told you that my father listens to this show.
Whoa, Pepperdy's set festival of football. It's going to be a marathon of Hinge and Tinder to get through ISO for Cam. Wow. Now,
Well, if you set it to a 5K radius down there, I doubt.
Geez, you wouldn't get anything. There'd be no fish in the pond.
Pretty lean pickings.
Now, let's talk Dowso's favourite segment.
Bad beats, and we've got an absolute plethora. The pig Russell was at it again. He blew up another same game multi for the punters. Jackie Boy Chugs. He missed out on Jake Lloyd's top possession markets because he spent the last 10 minutes off the ground and couldn't get back on.
Jake Chugs one of mine, man. I love him.
There you go, Jackie Boy Chugs. Old mate Gwinner. He missed out on Dusty's on Dusty's touch goal last night, so bad luck there. Andrew Morrison needed 2 goals from Toby Green for an 18-legger to pocket 10K.
Oh, that's so sick. 18-leggers. Have a bar.
10K, but he kicked 2 points and then did his hammy. Another chap by the name of MDIDD missed out on a 5K multi because Mundy put one through after the siren to bust the 8.5 Pies line.
Disgusting.
That was sickening. But the winner for this week, young Lockie Newman, an avid listener and a good friend of the program, the Mitch Wallace anytime goal scorer. So, first of all, Mitch Wallace probably could have kicked 6. He got wrapped around the head that many times and didn't get too many free kicks, but he did get a couple of frees. On the first one, his teammate thought he'd play on and kick the goal for him. Second one, last quarter, gets absolutely decapitated, but there was a bit of blood coming through. Blood rule, no goal for you, Mitchy boy, and poor old Lockie, no chocolates, and for all the other punters that were on that one, no chocolates for you either. So that was the bad beats.
That is an absolute beauty to then get a free kick and then go for the blood rule. I thought I'd heard it all, but it doesn't surprise me. There are guides for the bookies, but there wasn't a bookie guide for Sammy and Carlton. Now, the Festival of Football, how many days left? How many games left? We've got 2 days in a row of double headers.
Here we go.
It's time to take over the remote. I'm losing the battle at the moment. Happy to lose. But Wednesday turns a corner and now it's my turn with the TV. What's the patterns out of the Festival of Football and how many days are left in it, guys? Cam?
Well, the pattern is the Tigers are completely back. Their depth's enormous. They got heaps of players out and they've still gone and smashed Brisbane last night. And I think it's acutely aware there that from that game that kicking accuracy is so key.
Bad kicking is bad football.
Bad kicking's bad football, and good kicking's good football. And some teams like St Kilda and Fremantle, I think St Kilda had 12-1 the other week, and Freo had 10-1 against Collingwood on the weekend, and they had big wins. And if you just can't kick for goal, it's just being shown up. And Brisbane, that was the case last night. I didn't think they played particularly badly, but the Tigers, with their depth, really took advantage of their missed shots.
Wow, so it might silence those state-of-the-gamers, Cam, that are lurking in the shadows that want to knock your head off. I've been copying text messages that are saying, look, Cam's on his high horse about this state-of-the-gamers. He's going to go down. Now, Dowso, you're saying...
Aren't they ready to jump the state-of-the-gamers? They get fired up. I think Hugh raised their head on Twitter last night, and that's an interesting one. We just got to stay positive about the game. At least we've got football at the moment, I'm stoked that in this isolation that we've got footy every night. It's great to finish work and then actually have something to look forward to.
Now, Dowso, Saints absolutely demolished the Swans. They seem to be a genuine thing, which is what a worry for me. I'm not sweating yet, but maybe in a couple of rounds I might start to worry about that. What are you thinking, Dowso?
Yeah, they look good, don't they? And I think one thing that is becoming quite noticeable as we get towards September is that you've got to have the big boys up forward. And I think that was one thing that Brisbane struggled with last night. It's just their big men up in the forward 50. Cam and I spoke about it the other day. St Kilda seemed to have that with Membry, and I never know which King brother they've got, but they got one of the King boys down there anyway, and they've got the 2 towers, which I think is going to be important as we go into September. So they're looking good. They should take care of the Gold Coast, I think, this week. I think that's sitting around about minus 12. Yeah, that might be worth a little tickle there.
Cam?
Yeah, those key forwards being back, it's great. Kennedy was amazing the other night. He was even kicking roving goals. And Dixon on Monday night, I think it was, he was fantastic. And some of these key forwards, Lynch and Rewalt, kicked goals last night. They started to sort of step up. At the start of the year, it seemed to be the small forwards who were dominating. But these key forwards are really starting to play well and come back into Coleman, and I think it's great to see.
Port Adelaide are probably my favourite team to watch.
They're great. They're a great brand of football. And then when Charlie's up there clunking them, they've got a couple of dangerous players. Georgiades is one that's tickled your fancy, Dowso.
Yeah, he's got some real springs. He looks like he just floats across the pack when he's taking those marks, and he's only a skinny kid, but he must be 6'4", 6'5". He looks real athletic, got a great set of hands, and I think he's going to be a real player, that kid. He looks great.
And Cam, There's a lot of debate about the holding the ball rule at the moment. What's your thoughts and take on that? Is that just noise, or is that something that's going to figure itself out in time?
Or is it another flow-on effect of your mate, Australia's Belichick, Alistair Clarkson, ruining the game of football?
So everything that's bad about football is Clarkson's fault?
Well, ever since he blamed the holding the ball decision for his team's sort of shutdown there against North way back,
yeah,
they started to change the way they rule on that in the game.
Yeah, right.
And now we're starting to hear a lot of noise, boys.
So
Thoughts?
Tigers brand of footy, do you rate that? Well, guess what? Hardwick learnt from Alistair Clarkson.
Oh,
thank you.
And
Jeff.
Alistair Clarkson, a bit like Jesus Christ, just floated down from heaven and never learned anything from anyone. He taught himself everything. Please, come on, mate.
I actually think Dicko is right there. I think Clarko probably does have a bit to answer for what's been going on in the umpiring department since those comments. Look, I'm a big fan. I like to see holding the ball paid more. I don't think they do pay it enough. But the issue at the moment is that you've got, I think it was Darcy Moore in the Fremantle game, ball spilled off a pack or he took possession of the ball and young Fredericks just tackled into the ground. No prior opportunity whatsoever holding the ball. So we've got those sorts of incidents happening. But then you've got other ones. There was one last night, I can't remember the player, but he got spun around about 3 times and then was still allowed to dispose of it. So the ends of the spectrum of that decision at the moment are so far apart. I like the notion of holding the ball more, but I think that's been an issue with ISO at the moment, is the umpies aren't getting their craft quite right either.
Yeah, well, they're definitely missing every Hawthorn free kick. Cam?
Yeah, the umpires are under pressure, but you know who's under the pressure the most? If everyone in the whole AFL industry at the moment, I think the employees that are under the most pressure, and I think it was shown up with the bad beat segment that Dowso just spoke about, is champ and data employees. If they are getting scrutinised I'm not whacking them. I'm just saying they're under so much pressure because they're getting scrutinised for every number of disposals. And these same games, whether they're 14 or 15, and people are counting themselves and putting them on Twitter. And I feel for them, actually. They're under a lot of scrutiny, more than they ever have been before.
Maybe
all credit though to the AFL and to like the big plastics, because that's just another angle for watching the sport. Whereas we look at, say, like racing, which is you bet on the racing the same way you bet on racing in like 1901.
And it's funny how the wheel of karma turns, though, Cam. It's the AFL disposals argument and debate has always been very, very controversial, and it's probably a story for another day. But there's all sorts of allegations there. Now,
okay, whoa, scoop.
He's just dribbled there. He's just sort of lost. The eyes sort of glazed over. Then
He wanted to go right, but he just held himself back.
I'm sure he's doing.
No, it's in the early days of most disposals betting, there was a lot of controversy, as you'd say, and what happened, and then what was printed, and then what was edited, wasn't always the same thing.
Oh, punters at home.
Yeah,
that's a fairly big allegation. It's a good allegedly. Allegedly, there was some hot goes to
little
protect
birdies have told me
the big plastics.
Yeah, told me about that. Yeah. It used to cause all sorts of drama for corporate bookmakers, I am told. Now, looking at this week's matches, what are the angles, guys?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm struggling to find some angles, actually, for the rest of this round's games. Like tonight's 2 games, I think there's been 8 changes in one game and 12 changes in the other game. And for me, I'm finding it really hard to line up with that many changes. So in terms of match betting there, I'm at this stage sort of sitting out, and it's almost like the bookies have just, this week, every line is around that 16.5 line, and I'm struggling to find too many angles. What about yourself, Dowso?
Probably the only, I'm a bit the same. It's pretty much what I make it. Probably the one that I like the look of is perhaps the Cats. I think they're a very professional team. I think North Melbourne got themselves emotionally up to have a win because they haven't won for a while, but also for Mad Jack. So I think there's a lot going on there. And they take out of that team the big Suvalaki and young Curtis Taylor and LDU. And I think all those players are really class players. And I just think Geelong's defence is so good. And they're going to struggle to score again, North Melbourne. That prior to last week, they were really battling to score. So I think 16.5 points out there might not be enough to save them this. So I'll be having a little nibble at the Cats.
Sammy, what about Top Sport? Is there any market movers from Top Sport to help guide the punters? Because the boys have got many splinters in their back end.
Yeah, but which is like important to note. That's what the idea of you and I with this show, right?
Yeah.
Is not just because we've got the football on this weekend doesn't mean we're going to
have a bet.
You know, Cam's a long-term professional punter, and we're looking to win.
Grind out.
So we're not just going to bet because of the game on. If you head to the Mailbag website, you can see like how this man is in front over this year. When you look like I wake up this morning, didn't watch last night, and see that Brisbane have got pumped. Like that's
just doesn't make any
it's
sense.
hard. It's hard though. Like, to be where he is really, really impressive.
Sammy?
Not a lot in the movers category. Geelong's gone, the line for Geelong has gone from -14.5 to -16, and Melbourne has been from -14.5 to -16.5.
Any money for the Swans to cause an upset there against the Pies?
No.
Thanks, Sam.
I wanted those Swans.
That one fell flat.
When's Buddy coming back?
Who?
Buddy.
Last seen 2014 grand final.
It still says 3 to 4 weeks on the injury list on the AFL site.
Thank you,
Heathcote?
Cam.
Yeah, might be just side away. Dowso?
Well, Buddy, he jumped on the bus, so he's definitely in the hub, so he can't be too far away.
And what about Collingwood at the moment? Where are they at?
They're absolutely battling the Pies. I think it just goes to show how important Pendlebury is to that side. He hasn't played for the he hasn't played for the last couple of weeks. Is he coming back this week, Cam?
No, Pendle's back, not this week.
Pendle's not back, so he's crucial for him. They're one of those teams that's just struggling to find key forwards up front as well. So, yeah, a bit worried about the Pies.
They've had a horror month, and it maybe speaks to a couple of the internal crises. And when, I guess, the head coach is switching off and going to play tennis, it might say something about the mindset of the rest of the playing group. It just seems like they're a bit of a rabble at the moment. And
Ben Hart would be spewing, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
Cop 6 weeks.
Yeah. It's as we've said, it's maybe it's a theme of the show.
So hypocrisy.
There's rules for some people,
like Jeff Kennett,
and there's the untouchables.
It's like Jeff Kennett, who does a fantastic thing with Beyond Blue, like a really outstanding thing he's done. But then he spends his free time white-handing and just publicly shaming the Premier of Victoria.
I think people do need to be held to account, but I reckon Beyond Blue would be getting a fair hit up after some of those bad beats. My God, they were brutal.
Nice change of the subject, and we're going to get Jeff on. I don't know when, but Jeff will come on the show in the near future. Guys, you've been brilliant yet again. Head to themailbag.com.au for more of Cam's expert advice, and as the round moves on and he can see more patterns with the weather, he will start tipping through there. But
big over-unders, man.
Yeah, big loves a total, our man Cam. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Up next, we've got Mitch Beer with the Hall of Fame, and he's going to talk lots of chook.
And if you're having a bet on the football at any stage, it's not just playing on the weekends, it's every goddamn day. And Top Sport is doing even money lines up to $200 you can get set for. So make sure you check it out at topsport.com.au. Make sure you are gambling responsibly though. And if you're concerned about yourself or a loved one, head to Gamblers Helpline on 1800 858 858. Welcome back to Little Birdie. My name's Samantha Todd and I'm here with the boys to talk about our favourite segment, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we've got the newest Albury Premiership winning trainer. That's how he likes to be called. And what happens is once you win that title, you become the Hall of Fame substitute when top rope's away sick. Welcome, Mitch Beer, to the show.
How you going?
We're absolutely airborne. Jack, Hall of Fame, you've got a couple of nominations and then we'll go to Mitch.
I've got one. It's a proper like little birdie setup. Like a little birdie has told me something that I found fascinating, and the result of the effort just makes me laugh because he's such a vindictive but smart operator. My mail is that PVL...
Little birdie told me.
Little birdie told me that the PVL got on the phone to the big powers that be in politics in New South Wales, right?
Gladys.
When he started to hear that racing in Victoria might be shutting down again, especially racing in Metro Victoria, right? So he said, Peter Gladys, if this happens, I need you to allow Victorian ponies to cross the border into New South Wales. So the likes of, Sammy, we own Russian Camelot. Racing in Victoria is shut down. We're not going to leave it with Danny O'Brien. We're going to send it to Chris Waller.
Oh, wow.
It was a real power play, sneaky behaviour from PVL. However, the trainers in Victoria got wind of this. They spoke up.
elaborate.
So because he's tried to do that, it's actually kept racing going in Victoria. So PVL, whilst trying to be very, very smart and sneaky, has actually kept racing going in
Is this Top
Metro
Rope?
Victoria.
Did Top Rope send you
I
notes?
nominate PVL into the Hall of Fame because he's allowed us to keep betting at Flemington, Moonee Valley, Sandown, and all the good decks in the Victorian hub, in the Metro hub.
I think I'm going to throw up. Next thing you know, you'll be telling me that the Melbourne Cup's going to be run at Randwick. I just can't see it happening.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Mitch.
Didn't you say you'd be kind enough to take our second-rate meeting, the Melbourne Cup?
Oh, this is absolutely ludicrous. I don't know where you get your mail from, Jack, but you need
it's
to
spot
have.
on. It's spot on.
Is it really? Mitch, what do you think about that? And what do you think about the Hall of Fame nominee?
No, I can't come at that at all. Even for a far-fetched racehorse trainer, it's too much. Too much. But I can trump that with some real hard-hitting truth. I know because I lived it last week. And once you know this and once you get your head around it and try it, there's no going back. So tune off now if you're not committed. Stepped into a place called the Newmarket Store. It's wall-to-wall Bain Marie's and iced coffee. It's a punting man's dream. Just ask for the stock standard bacon and egg roll. Got into the car, unwrapped it, and to my amazement, they do their bacon and egg rolls in a bacon and cheese roll.
Oh, wow. That is Christmas. A bacon egg roll in a ham and cheese roll.
Exactly. And
oh, wow.
It's simple. And once you go there, there's no going back.
Wow.
So absolute Hall of Fame, top 5. I'm setting the bar very high because it's a game changer.
Do they toast it inside out? So you cut it in half and then flip it over so the ham and cheese is in the middle, and do they toast it like inside out? Is that what happened?
No, so you've got your stock standard ham and cheese on the outside, and then I think just the general Bain Marie heat gets the cheese going.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know the details, but with a bit of barbecue sauce and that egg and bacon in the middle, I'm telling you, it's absolute 3 meal a day. It becomes an absolute necessity when the track work finishes here about 11 o'clock. It doesn't get to 15:15 now without one going down the hatch.
Gee, you've blown my mind there, Mitch. To think this whole time I've been going to super normal for the lobster rolls.
You're really missing out on the breakfast treat. Sammy, we might get you to try one at home and we might film the experience and post it on Twitter. Now, Mitch, you've got a bit of a beef with sweet chili sauce, a little birdie tells me.
Yeah, I've been having an internal, debate with a number of people. I've had enough of it. I think it's pushed onto us. It's these big corporates. They side it with everything and they make it okay. It is an overrated sauce, and it's time we started revolting against it.
I couldn't agree more. I put it in a stir fry, and all it does is makes it gluggy. I think it's very overrated. It's probably it's a poor man's sauce. KFC's, I guess, the penultimate takeaway chicken, and then you've got Red Rooster as the poor cousin. And I think sweet chili sauce is somewhere in the realm of Red Rooster. What would you think?
What burger at the Colonel has sweet chili on it? Isn't like the Zinger just in the way they like?
No, none, and that's what makes KFC so great.
Yeah,
they don't force that wretched sauce. They don't push it, and then that's why there is absolute supreme takeaway chicken venue. Unlike Red Rooster, who I don't know why. I guess it's like back in Kementari. You keep going back. And
this is close to Sam's heart.
Yeah, someone said to me the other day about my love-hate relationship with Red Rooster, and I said I kind of reminds me of like that Stockholm syndrome where you fall in love with your abuser because
that's too soon. We're still in lockdown here in Melbourne.
It is such a
whack for the Dolph.
Yeah, but you just keep going back. So, yeah, Red Rooster's absolute got life from me. I've had another terrible experience during the week, but
what about with a bit of Philly cheese? Sort of like sweet chili Philly. That was huge for a while there. I think we have.
going
I
back
think
to
you're
76.
right. I think we've progressed. I think we've moved on to sriracha now.
Sweet chili.
Oh, sriracha.
Philly, what?
Sweet chili Philly. Philly cheese.
My head's
cream
spinning.
cheese.
Mitch, straighten me up. If I went to the Colonel today, what would you recommend?
Bacon and cheese zinger combo with probably a flatbread slider chaser.
Jesus.
I don't even know what that is.
I normally just get like the zinger combo and put the chips on the burger and knock down a Mountain Dew.
Wow, I'm too basic for that.
Well, you got
Let's go for it.
straight away. I don't know how much respect I can have for a man that drinks Mountain Dew over a Pepsi Max.
Mountain Dew's got a bit of caffeine. I'm a big Mountain Dew man. I was. Now I go the water because I'm old. Not as old as Scooty,
that's
as he
even worse.
just reminded me
Even
again
worse.
before. But
Now this week, Mitch, it looks like Canberra and Wagga are on the horizon. Is any horse a chance, or are you more likely just to frequent a Colonel? What's going to be the highlight?
I'm staring down the barrel of a pretty average week. I don't think anything can win at Canberra or Wagga, and I'll be attending both venues with multiple runners, which is pretty depressing considering it's only Wednesday. But I've got, I'm going to take 3 horses to Canberra and trial them just to give me some positivity to get through the week. But I'm going to take 3 horses to Canberra and trial them after the last. And punters, I reckon, can just jot all 3 of them down in their black books. They're kicking off, in the next couple of weeks after their trial. Hanger, Menmouth, and Sunrise Ruby.
Hanger's
Give them
good
hope
horse.
because it's a big drop down to the rest.
Yeah.
So I'm trialing 3 on Friday, and if they can't get us through this pandemic, then nothing will.
I was going to ask you about Hanger, actually. What's it like training for a high-profile owner like Tim Hickman?
I've had Hickers on the books for a while, the Baron. His last horse, the prize money went direct onto his Uber Eats account, and he used to fly home and run third every start, and he was wrapped. But he's a great man. You won't miss him at the races. He loves his horses. And, training for the Baron, it comes with its fair share of feedback, that's for sure.
I can imagine.
Nothing better than owners who tell you how to train the horse instead of you. Mitch, thanks for joining us. Good luck. I hope there's a steak sandwich or a pie at Holbrook that tickles your fancy and makes the trip on the way home from Canberra all the worthwhile. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
Good on you guys.
Now, Sammy, Top Sport movers. Where is the money going at the moment?
Well, with the NRL, it's the St George Illawarra Dragons. They've gone from... I'm sorry.
10 and a half?
Sorry.
No, 12 and a half.
Dicko's losing it over here.
I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going.
Okay, I'm just... Never mind. If you're watching this, Dicko's going to be okay. So St George Illawarra's gone... They've been given plus 12.5 to plus 10.5 there, and then the Warriors have gone from plus 12.5 into 11.5.
Now, our great mate Top Rope Tedeschi is on the sidelines this week. He's faxed in. He's gone old school. He is a little bit analog, our man. He likes the Dragons 12.5 into 10.5 in the Thursday night clash, and his other best for Saturday is Penrith Panthers versus Canberra Raiders, and he likes the Raiders at the plus, so you can get the flat 6 there. I think we need to take a break. Dicko has absolutely melted down.
Analog when he's not here. That's great.
Right?
That's Scoot's got,
He's old school.
Scoot's got some of the most elite chat in racing. I've always said this, and to call him analog when he's not here, that's outstanding sledge.
Well, if you have a look at the Little Birdie crew section, so head to Little Birdie Pod and then click on crew, you have a look at the bio of our man, Nick Top Rope Tedeschi.
He's a big KFC man too.
He loves KFC.
It
It is an absolute pisser of a profile picture. We will have to update the profiles. Sammy's isn't there, and we've got curls and we've got a few people, but we'll update the crew bio page and we'll take a break. But if you're betting this weekend, Sammy, Who are you betting with? Where are you betting and why?
Well, it's got to be with topsport.com.au. They are the biggest betting online bookie, taking on everyone, never rejecting a bet and betting the biggest limits. Make sure you do gamble responsibly, though, and call 1-800-858-858 if you're concerned.
Up next, Big Daddy talks golf.
He's got his eye on you.
Welcome back to Little Birdie. This is Samantha Todd, and we are here with the boys to talk about golf with our favourite man, Adam, or as he likes to be called, Big Daddy.
Well,
How are you?
How are you?
Sammy from South Yarra with a sensational intro there. Big
Sultry
Daddy.
intro.
Sultry intro. Yeah.
Big Daddy, how are
Smooth
you?
FM.
Ready for the PGA champ, guys?
Big week of golf. I don't want to blow you like a heap up you, but you were enormous last week. You are seeing them big. Well done, and thank you for your
Inside.
insight last week. I'm sure anyone who listened made a fair bit of cash and has a good amount to throw at what is easily the most exciting sporting event this week in the world, the PGA Championships. Big Daddy, how excited are you for this?
Yeah, mate, we're pumped. It should be a pretty good week. It'll be a tough week. They're holding it in San Fran. The course is going to be playing extremely tough. The rough's going to be up. The fairways are going to be tight. So you want to be looking at players that hit the ball fairly long and straight, because the course is going to have a fair bit of length to it. It's going to be a brutal test. But also having a look at players that hit a lot of greens in regulation as well. So there's a couple of players that we can sort of take on this week. I think I'll be looking to sort of take on Spieth. Spieth, in my eyes, is not up to scratch at the moment with the majors, and particularly this week, where it's important to hit a lot of fairways. So Spieth is, if you only have to go to the PGA Tour website and have a look at the stats on fairways hit, and Spieth is just completely out the gate, and he's also completely out the gate on greens in regulation hit as well. So he's 194th, for example, out of like 214 players in fairways hit. So you've got to get the ball in play, and he's similar in greens and reg hit. So in my eyes, he's just a great bet to take on this week for matching him up. I think Tyrrell Hatton will beat Jordan Spieth this week, and I think there's a good trio match bet with Tony Finau and Tyrrell Hatton to beat Jordan Spieth. I think that's Group H. Samuel confirmed, but I think that's Group H on Top Sport.
Yeah, it is. It's Trio H. You can find it if you just search it on Top Sport website. Tony Finau is $2.70. Tyreel's in there at $2.75, and Jordan Spieth is $2.95.
Further to what Big Daddy's saying, I heard that Tiger was playing a practice round with three blokes, and he's just missed the fairway, and they play golf for a living. Couldn't find it.
Well,
just like a metre or two off the fairway, couldn't find the pill.
yeah, in some of the practice rounds, Big Daddy, I saw amazing wind, and the wind over in San Francisco along that coast is absolutely diabolical sometimes. I played over there once. There was a downhill par 3, 110 metres, and we were watching guys hit 5 irons, and they were falling short. So the wind looks like it's about 35 kilometres an hour. It looks like we'll get back to 27. Are you factoring in golfers that can play well in the wind?
Yeah, I'm definitely factoring in. Well, we never know what the wind's going to do every single day, but definitely players that can handle difficult courses and difficult conditions. And one of those players, he only just snuck in on my radar last week because of a good performance. He finished second. That was Brooks Koepka. He's a guy that he just seems to get switched on for majors. But not only that, he loves majors. It seems that the harder the test is, the better he seems to play and concentrate. And I think you're going to see a lot of guys just fall away this week because there's disaster lurking literally on most shots. And Brooks has just proven that he loves those tough tracks. And one of the things that stands up, and the reason he only just popped onto my radar last week was because he had a second-place finish. So if you go back to the history of majors, if you're trying to find someone that's won or finished first or second in a major, generally they've had a win or runner-up in the last 6 to 12 months prior to that. And that's something that's really consistent in a lot of major champions. And Brooks only just hit that last week. So if he hadn't of, I was going to write him off, but he now had that second place finish where you've got to sort of, you can't write him off. But there are some players that I think that listeners out there that if they're thinking of having a bet, I would kind of steer clear of some players at the moment like Jason Day, Ricky Flower, Tommy Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Woodland, Spieth, Rose, Lowry, Easthausen. They're players that are all in the top 30 in the market, and I just can't find how any of those players at the moment are going to finish first or second.
I think Jason Day is flying, but outside of that, I did a little bit of reading, and the course is going to set up for a draw or a filthy Phil Mickelson sort of fader on the left. So basically, I'd be cast. Scooter be in a bit of trouble, but I would be awful there. Are there golfers? Is that male right, Big Daddy, that you want to be able to draw the ball as a right-hander or fade it as a lefty? And if so, who does that sort of suit?
Well, you've got to have severe dog legs to be favouring draws and fades. To be against fades. Like Alex Noren is a massive left to right player. He rarely plays well at Augusta. Big right to left players that love drawing the ball usually play well. Tiger over the years has been a good drawer of the ball, and hence why he's probably played well at Augusta, knows it like the back of his hand. But Jason Day, getting back to Jason Day, yes, he's coming into some form, but to me, he hasn't hit he just hasn't done enough the last 12 to 18 months to put him up there. He has been on the decline, but now he's just starting to come back a little bit. I don't know if it's too soon.
He won something big at this exact same track, maybe in 2016, 15.
Yeah, well, they've only had a few events there a while ago. You could be right there, actually. I can't remember that off the top of my head.
What about a match play or something?
That's right. They had a WGC there. But, look, I'm not with Jason Day this week. He is getting back into some form, but there's always something wrong with him too. That's the other thing. So he's a bit of a princess, I think. He's a bit of an actor, Seems to be always, something's going on. There's a big performance in front of all the crowds. And,
chokes a bit.
Look, he's just not a player that I'm fully on this week. I think someone like Daniel Berg is flying. Justin Thomas, Scoot was talking about that earlier. Justin Thomas we've been talking about for a little bit. He's in red-hot form. John Rand's playing well.
Abraham Answer, can I back him?
Well, he's a steady player. I don't think he could win. He has been playing well. He's a little roughy chance, I suppose. TJ can throw up a few sort of odd scenarios, but I think you want to be sort of sticking to guys in really red-hot form, and one of those guys is Justin Thomas. I mean, he's just playing awesome at the moment, and so is John Ram.
Oh, he was pretty blessed, though. It was a little bit like old Scooty at Barnbugle there on the last day. Like he bombed that thing and hit a footbridge, hit a bit of concrete, bounced, and got out of the carnage there, JT, to win the tournament.
If you live by the sword, die by the sword, and you just got to take the bit between the teeth and play aggressive, not scared golf. Big Daddy, we're going to find you at the mailbag.com.au for all your insights. So if the guys want your full sheet of bets, head to the mailbag.com.au.
So they'll get pre-tournament sort of
pre-tournament
bets. They'll get bets after the cut and anything else in between that Big Daddy finds.
Any thoughts? Big Daddy will send them via the app. Thanks, Fraser. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Big Daddy.
That's all we've got time for on Little Birdie Pod. I'm getting the wrap up here. It's been a great show. It's been full of laughs. We might save the charity bet for Twitter. We're seeing them like pinpricks for charity, so we're going to have to think very hard before we place the next 100 for charity. Thanks, Jack. You were okay today. Sammy, I think you were probably best on.
Thank you, Nick.
Head to Little Birdie Pod and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Little Birdie Podcast.
Nice little sledge there.
Catch you next week.
I said thank you.